Deep in the Appalachian Mountains, there are forests so old. Locals say the land remembers everything that's ever walked through it. Hunters talk about footsteps that follow them for miles. Campers hear distant whistles echoing through the rain. Signals that don't belong to any animal. Most people think the Appalachian Forest is just wilderness, but the stories you're about to hear suggest something else lives out there. Something ancient that knows every trail, every cabin, and every person who wanders too far from the road. And once the forest notices you, it doesn't always let you leave unnoticed. Everyone who lives near the Appalachian forests learns the same rules early. Don't hike after dark, don't follow strange voices, and if you hear whistling in the woods, never whistle back. I grew up in a small town, sitting right on the edge of the Appalachian Mountains. The forest began where the last house ended, just endless miles of old trees, deep valleys, and hills that swallowed sunlight before evening even arrived. Tourists loved it, locals respected it, because the forest was older than our town, older than the roads, older than the stories, and the stories were not friendly. My grandfather used to tell me one rule whenever we went hunting. If the woods start talking back to you, he'd say, "You leave." I thought he meant animals, coyotes, owls, things like that. I learned later, he didn't. It started when my friend Tyler went missing. Tyler was the kind of guy who thought rules were jokes. If someone said don't go there, he'd go there twice just to prove nothing would happen. One Friday night, he decided we should go hiking. At 10 p.m., moon's full, he said. Perfect night hike. There were 4 of us. Me, Tyler, Jason, and Mark. We parked near an old Forest Service road, about 15 minutes outside town. The road hadn't been used in years. Trees had started reclaiming it, roots cracking through the asphalt. The moment we stepped out of the car, the woods felt wrong, too quiet, even for night. No crickets, no wind, just the creaking of tall trees swaying slowly above us. "See?" Tyler laughed. "Nothing scary." He grabbed a flashlight and started down the trail. We followed. At first everything was normal. Leaves crunching under boots, cold mountain air, the faint smell of wet earth and pine. But after about 20 minutes, Jason stopped walking. "Do you hear that?" We listened, nothing. Then a whistle, soft, single note, hype. It came from somewhere deep in the trees. Tyler grinned. Probably some dude messing with us. The whistle came again. 2 short notes this time. Mark frowned. That sounded weird. Tyler cupped his hands around his mouth and whistled back, loud, sharp, 3 notes. Every hair on my arm stood up instantly, because the forest responded, not with one whistle, with many, all around us, left, right, behind, ahead, dozens, each one repeating the same 3-note whistle Tyler made. Tyler stopped smiling. Jason whispered, "Dude, that's not funny." The whistles stopped suddenly. Silence dropped back over the woods. Thick, heavy, like something had just noticed us. Mark grabbed Tyler's arm. "We should go." Tyler laughed nervously. "Yeah, okay, maybe." A branch snapped somewhere in the darkness. Not like a squirrel, not like a deer. Heavy, slow. Something big moving through the trees. We turned our flashlights toward the sound. Nothing. Just endless trunks and shadows. Then we heard the whistle again, but this time, it was right behind us. We spun around, still nothing, but the whistle changed. Instead of random notes, it sounded like someone trying to copy Tyler's exact whistle again, except slightly wrong, like a recording played by something that didn't understand the sound. Jason whispered, "Let's go." Now, we started walking back down the trail quickly. Then faster, then almost running. but something was following us. Not chasing, just pacing us in the woods. Branches cracking, leaves shifting, always just out of sight. Then the whistling started again, only now it wasn't copying Tyler. It was copying us. The crunch of our boots, the rhythm of our footsteps. Crunch, 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 crunch. But coming from the trees, matching us perfectly. We stopped walking. The forest footsteps stopped too, at the exact same time. Tyler turned slowly toward the darkness. "Hello?" Something answered, but it wasn't a word. It was Tyler's voice, perfectly mimicked. "Hello." My stomach dropped. Jason grabbed my arm. "That's not him." Tyler looked terrified now. "Who's there?" The voice came again, from somewhere deeper in the woods. "Who's there?" Same tone, same panic, but slightly delayed, like something learning how to be him. Then the trees moved, and for a split second, our flashlights caught something standing between the trunks. Tall, too tall. Its limbs looked wrong, longer than they should be, and its head tilted sideways, watching us. Then it whistled again, but this time, the whistle sounded exactly like Tyler's. Perfect. Tyler screamed, "Run!" We bolted down the trail, branches slapping our faces, boots sliding on dirt. The whistling followed. Faster now, closer, and then Tyler stopped. I turned back. He was gone, just gone. No scream, no sound. Jason and Mark were still running ahead. I spun in circles with my flashlight. Tyler. The forest stayed silent for 10 seconds, 20, 30. Then, from deep in the woods, Tyler's voice echoed, calm to calm. "Guys, wait up." Jason grabbed my jacket. "Don't answer." My heart was hammering so hard I thought I might pass out. Tyler's voice called again, closer now. "Guys, I think I twisted my ankle," Mark whispered. "That's not him." Then the voice changed slightly. Still Tyler, but not quite. "Guys, please come back." A whistle followed. Perfect. Exactly like Tyler's whistle. Jason slowly backed away. "Run." We ran all the way to the car. Didn't stop, didn't look back. But just before we reached the road, the forest behind us exploded with whistles. Hundreds of them, all copying Tyler's whistle. And Tyler's voice, all calling our names. Tyler was never found. Search teams looked for 3 weeks. Nothing. No tracks, no clothes, no blood, just forest. But something strange started happening after that night. Sometimes when I'm outside late, I hear whistling, 3 notes, Tyler's whistle. And sometimes, when I walk faster, the forest footsteps follow, matching mine perfectly. Crunch, crunch, crunch. After that night, none of us ever talked about Tyler again, at least, not out loud. Jason moved away 3 months later. His family said it was because his dad got a new job in Ohio, but everyone in town knew the truth. Jason stopped sleeping. He kept saying he heard whistling outside his window every night. Mark lasted a little longer, 6 months, then he started drinking heavily, and eventually left town too. The last time I saw him, he looked like someone who hadn't slept in weeks. Before he left, he said something that stuck with me. Whatever took Tyler, it followed us out of the woods. I didn't believe him then. I do now. At first, everything seemed normal. Life went on. School, work, quiet evenings in our small Appalachian town. But sometimes late at night, when the wind was still, I thought I heard something outside. A whistle, 3 soft notes. Exactly like Tyler's, the first time it happened. I told myself it was just my imagination. The second time, I closed all the windows. The third time, it happened right outside my bedroom. That night I sat frozen in bed, staring at the dark window across the room. The whistle came again, soft, patient, like someone waiting for an answer. I didn't move, didn't breathe. Then something tapped on the glass. Just once, my heart nearly stopped. I slowly reached over to my nightstand and grabbed my phone, turning on the flashlight. My hands were shaking so badly the light bounced across the walls. I pointed it toward the window. Nothing. Just my reflection staring back at me, pale, terrified. Then the whistle came again, but this time, it came from inside the house. I jumped out of bed immediately and turned on the room light. The sudden brightness made the silence feel even heavier. The house was still. My parents were asleep down the hall. Everything looked normal, but my stomach twisted into knots because I knew what I had heard. Slowly, carefully, I stepped into the hallway. The floor creaked under my feet. Every shadow looked deeper than it should have. Then I heard it again, a whisper, soft, barely audible. "Hello?" My blood ran cold. It was Tyler's voice, exactly like the night in the woods. I rushed to my parents' bedroom and knocked loudly. My dad opened the door, half asleep. "What's wrong?" I heard someone in the house. He grabbed a baseball bat from the closet and checked every room. Kitchen, living room, basement, nothing. Every door locked. Every window closed. My dad eventually sighed. "You probably had a nightmare," but I knew I hadn't. That night I didn't sleep at all, and just before sunrise, I heard the whistle one last time, right outside my bedroom door. Things got worse after that. The whistling didn't happen every night, but when it did, it was always the same pattern. 3 notes, Tyler's whistle. Sometimes it came from the backyard, sometimes from the street. Once, it came from the woods behind my house. Each time it sounded closer, each time it lasted longer, and each time I ignored it until the night it started speaking. It was late October. Cold wind rattled the windows, and most people in town were already asleep. Around midnight I heard the whistle again. 3 notes, closer than ever. But this time something followed it. Footsteps, slow, crunching across the gravel outside, back and forth, like someone pacing. I peeked through my curtain. The yard was empty, but the footsteps kept going. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Then the voice came, soft, almost curious. "Why won't you answer?" I stepped back from the window immediately. My entire body was shaking, because it wasn't just Tyler's voice anymore. It sounded like several voices layered together. Tyler, Jason, Mark, all speaking at once. "Why won't you answer?" The footsteps moved toward the side of the house, then to the backyard, then right beneath my window. The voice spoke again, closer. "Come outside." I covered my ears, but it kept talking. "Come outside, come outside, come outside." Over and over, faster each time, like something becoming impatient. Then suddenly silence. The footsteps stopped. The voice stopped. Everything stopped. I stayed frozen in the dark for nearly an hour before I finally forced myself to look outside again. The yard was empty, but something new was there. Footprints, huge ones, pressed deep into the dirt beneath my window, each one at least 20 inches long, and they led straight into the woods behind my house. The next morning I drove straight to Mark's old house. He had moved away months earlier, but his older brother still lived there. When I showed him the pictures of the footprints, his face turned pale. "He told you, didn't he?" he asked. "Told me what?" "That it followed you." I nodded slowly. He looked toward the forest behind his house. Mark said the same thing happened to him. My stomach tightened. "What do you mean?" He heard the whistling too, his brother said quietly, outside his window. "Every night, same 3 notes. I felt sick." "What happened?" His brother swallowed hard. "One night Mark answered it. A cold chill ran down my spine." "What do you mean?" Answered it. He whistled back. I stared at him, and his brother looked toward the woods again. He said the forest whistled back. Just one whistle. He shook his head slowly. "Hundreds." My hands were trembling now. "What happened after that?" For a long moment, he didn't answer. Then he finally spoke. He said something walked out of the trees. My chest tightened. "Did he see it?" "Only for a second," he said. "But he told me one thing he'll never forget." "What?" His brother looked directly at me. It had Tyler's voice. The room felt suddenly smaller. What did it say? His brother hesitated, then whispered the words. You finally answered. That night I packed my bags. I was done with the woods, done with the whispers, done with the whistling. I planned to leave town before sunrise, but around 2 a.m., the whistle came again. 3 notes, right outside my door, closer than ever before. Then the voice spoke. Clear, perfect, Tyler's voice. You're leaving. I froze. The voice continued. But you answered. My heart nearly stopped. I hadn't whistled. I hadn't spoken. Then I remembered something that made my blood run cold. Earlier that day, when Mark's brother told me the story, I had accidentally whistled Tyler's 3 notes while thinking about it, softly, without even realizing it. The voice outside laughed, a quiet, unnatural sound. You answered. The doorknob began to turn slowly. I ran out the back door and drove out of town without stopping. I never went back, but sometimes, late at night, when the world gets very quiet, I still hear it. 3 soft notes, Tyler's whistle, and sometimes, just before the sound fades away, a voice whispers from the darkness, come back. If you ever visit the Appalachian Mountains, there's one rule locals will always tell you. Never leave the marked trail. It sounds like normal advice, basic hiking safety, but the way they say it, the way their voice lowers, it doesn't feel like they're talking about getting lost. It feels like they're warning you about something else, something in the forest, something that doesn't want you to leave. My name is Kyle Turner, and 2 years ago, I ignored that rule. I thought I knew better. I thought it was just another superstition. I was wrong. It started as a simple weekend trip. 4 of us, me, my girlfriend Lisa, my best friend Mark, and his younger brother Ethan. We planned to hike a section of the Appalachian Trail that ran through a dense forest area, known locally as Black Ridge. It wasn't a popular spot, which is exactly why we chose it. No crowds, no noise, just trees and silence. We arrived early in the morning. The air was cool, the sky clear. Everything felt normal. We parked near the trailhead, grabbed our gear, and started hiking. For the first few hours, nothing unusual happened. The trail was narrow, but easy to follow. Tall trees surrounded us on both sides. Birds chirped overhead. Sunlight filtered through the leaves. It felt peaceful, almost too peaceful. Around noon we stopped to rest. That's when Ethan noticed something. Hey, wasn't that tree already here? We all looked at him. What do you mean? I asked. He pointed behind us. There's a mark on it, like a carving. I swear we passed that earlier. I shrugged. All trees look the same out here, but Lisa frowned. No, I think he's right. We walked back a few steps, and there it was, a large tree with a deep carving in its trunk. 3 long scratches, perfectly parallel, like claw marks. I felt a slight unease, but brushed it off. Probably just someone marking the trail, I said, but something didn't sit right, because trail markers aren't random claw scratches, and they definitely don't look like something made by an animal. We continued hiking. But after another 20 minutes, we saw the same tree again. Same scratches, same position, right beside the trail. Mark stopped walking. Okay, that's not possible. A strange silence settled over the group. The forest felt different now, quieter, heavier. Like the air itself had changed. Maybe we turned somewhere without noticing, Lisa said. I checked the trail. Still clear, still straight. No turns, no forks. We hadn't left it, and yet, we were back at the same tree. Ethan laughed nervously. All right, not funny. Who's messing with us? No one answered, because no one was. That's when we heard it, a sound from deep in the forest. A whistle, soft, low, almost like someone calling from far away. We all froze. "Did you hear that?" Mark whispered. I nodded slowly. The whistle came again. Longer this time, and closer. Lisa grabbed my arm. "That's not an animal." She was right. It sounded human, but something about it felt wrong. Like it wasn't natural. Like it was trying too hard to sound human. Ethan stepped closer to the edge of the trail. "Hello?" he called out. The forest stayed silent for a moment. Then, the whistle came again, but this time, it mimicked his tone. Same pitch, same rhythm. My stomach dropped. "Okay." "Nope," Mark said immediately. "We're turning back." No one argued. We turned around and started heading back the way we came. But after 10 minutes of walking, we stopped. Because the trail didn't lead back to the parking area. Instead, it led us right back to the same tree. The one with the claw marks. Now I felt it. Real fear. "This isn't possible," I said quietly. Lisa looked around, panic starting to show on her face. "We've been walking straight." Mark checked his phone. No signal, of course. Deep forest. No connection. The whistle came again. Louder, closer. And this time, it didn't sound like just one voice. There were two. One slightly off. Like a delayed echo, Ethan backed away from the trees. "Something's following us." I looked into the forest. Between the trees, shadows moved where nothing should move. Branches shifted slightly, but there was no wind. Then I saw it, for just a second. A shape, tall, standing between the trees. Too still, too straight, watching us. Then it moved, fast, gone. My heart started pounding. "Did you see that?" I whispered. No one answered, but I could tell from their faces. They had. The whistle came again. Right behind us this time. We turned instantly. But there was nothing there. Just the trail. The same trail. The same tree. The same claw marks. Only now, there was something new carved into the trunk. Words. Fresh. Deep. Like they had just been scratched into the wood. We stepped closer slowly and read it. "You left the trail." Lisa's voice trembled. "We didn't, but deep down, I realized something terrifying. We must have, at some point, without noticing, without realizing. We stepped off the path, and now, the forest wasn't letting us go back. The whistle came again, right next to us, and this time, it wasn't trying to sound human anymore. It sounded hungry. The whistle changed. It wasn't trying to copy us anymore. It didn't sound human. It sounded wrong. Like something had been practicing a human sound for a long time, and finally stopped pretending. Lisa grabbed my arm tightly. "We need to move. Now." No one argued. We started walking again, faster this time, staying as close together as possible. The trail stretched ahead of us, narrow and winding through the trees, but something about it felt off now. It looked the same, but it didn't feel the same. The forest had gone completely silent. No birds, no insects, nothing, just our footsteps, and something else, following, not directly behind us, not in front, but around us, moving through the trees, keeping pace. Ethan turned suddenly. "It's circling us." "Don't stop," Mark snapped. "Just keep walking." We moved faster. Branches cracked somewhere to our right, then to our left, then behind us, like multiple things were moving at once. My chest tightened. "Guys," Lisa whispered. I followed her gaze. Ahead of us, the trail split. That wasn't possible. There had been no fork before. Now, there were two paths, one going left, one going right, both identical, both disappearing into thick trees. Mark cursed under his breath. "This wasn't here." "It wasn't," I said. The whistle came again, from the left path, then immediately, from the right, both directions, perfectly timed, perfectly wrong. Ethan shook his head. "It's messing with us." "No kidding," Mark muttered. We stood there frozen, trying to decide, left or right, but something deep inside me said neither was safe. Then I noticed something, The ground, between the two paths. A faint trail, barely visible, like something had been dragged through the dirt repeatedly. Not a human trail. Something else. Something heavy. Something that didn't walk like we do. "Don't go that way," Lisa said quickly. Noticing it too. "I wasn't planning to," I replied. The whistle came again. Closer. Much closer. We had seconds left, Mark said. "No right," Ethan argued. "Just pick one," Lisa shouted. I made the call. "Left. Go." We ran. Branches scraped against our arms as we pushed forward. The path twisted unnaturally, tighter than before, like the forest was closing in. Then suddenly Ethan screamed. We all stopped. He was behind us, staring into the trees. "What did you see?" I asked quickly. His voice shook. It was standing there. "Where?" He pointed. "There, between those trees." We all looked. Nothing, just shadows. But then I noticed something. Footprints, large, deep, pressed into the dirt just off the trail. Too big to be human, too long. And there were a lot of them, circling, following, always, just out of sight. Lisa whispered, "It's hurting us." That word hit me hard. Hurting, like animals, like prey. The whistle came again, but now, it was behind us, on the trail we just came from, and in front of us, on the path ahead, and to the sides, every direction. We were surrounded. Then we heard something new. A voice, soft, familiar. "Guys, wait." My blood ran cold. It was my voice, perfectly copied. "Coming from the trees." "Nope," Mark said immediately. "Don't respond." The voice came again. "Closer, guys. I'm over here." Lisa shook her head. "That's not you." I didn't answer, because I knew it wasn't, but hearing it still felt wrong. Then another voice came. Lisa's voice. "Help me," she gasped. "That's not me." But it sounded exactly like her. Panic started to take over. Ethan backed away. "We're not getting out of here." "Yes, we are," I said, though I didn't believe it anymore. The forest shifted again, and suddenly, the trees ahead opened up. We stopped, because in front of us was the parking area. Our car, exactly where we left it. The same road, the same sign, the same everything. For a moment, no one moved. Then Ethan said quietly, "We made it." Mark didn't look convinced. "This is wrong." Lisa nodded slowly. "Yeah, it feels wrong." Everything looked perfect, but the forest behind us was still silent. Too silent. I took a step forward, then stopped. The ground near the parking area was covered in footprints. Those same large, deep prints, dozens of them, maybe hundreds, all around the car, like something had been waiting there, watching. My heart started pounding again. "This isn't real," I said quietly. The car door suddenly unlocked with a click. All 4 doors. At the same time, Lisa grabbed my arm. "Don't go near it." The whistle came again, right behind us. We turned, and this time, we saw it, clearly, standing at the edge of the trees. Tall, too tall, its body thin and twisted, its limbs long and bent in unnatural ways, its head tilted at an angle no human neck could hold, its face, almost human, but stretched, wrong, smiling too wide, and its mouth opened slowly. Then it spoke, using all of our voices at once. "Why? Are you leaving?" Ethan screamed. Mark grabbed him and pulled him back. "Run." We turned away from the fake parking lot and ran back into the forest. Behind us, we heard it moving, fast, not walking, not running. Something else, something that didn't follow the rules of movement. Branches snapped, leaves tore, and the voices echoed behind us, calling our names, begging, laughing, all at once. We ran until our lungs burned, until our legs felt like they would collapse. And then suddenly we burst out of the trees, into sunlight, real sunlight. Birds chirping, wind moving, sound, life. We stumbled onto a dirt road, a real one, Not the fake trail, not the twisted forest. A park ranger truck was parked nearby. The ranger jumped out, shocked. "Where the hell did you guys come from?" We didn't answer. We couldn't. We just kept looking back at the forest. But it looked normal again. Quiet, still. Like nothing had happened. We left that place immediately. None of us ever went back. But weeks later, I checked something, satellite maps, just to understand what happened. And that's when I saw it. The area where we got lost didn't have any trail, not even one. Just dense forest, no paths, no markings, nothing. Which means one thing. The trail we followed was never real, and whatever we saw in those woods was never trying to scare us. It was trying to keep us. There are places in the Appalachian Forest that don't show up on maps, not old trails, not abandoned roads, entire structures, cabins, houses, even whole clearings. Locals will tell you the same thing every time. If you find something that shouldn't be there, don't go inside. I wish we had listened. My name is Rachel, and this happened during a solo hiking trip in West Virginia. I wasn't inexperienced. I had hiked plenty of trails before, carried the right gear, knew how to navigate. I trusted maps more than stories. That was my mistake. I started the hike early in the morning. The trail I chose was a quiet, lesser-known path that cut deep into the Appalachian Forest. It wasn't popular, but it was marked clearly on every map I checked. About 6 miles in, the forest changed. It became quieter, not silent, but muted, like all the natural sounds had been turned down. No birds, no insects, just wind, and even that sounded distant. I checked my map. Everything seemed normal. I was exactly where I was supposed to be. So I kept going. Around mid-afternoon, I noticed something strange. The trail I was following was getting harder to see. The dirt path faded in places. Tree markings became less frequent. At one point, I had to stop and double-check my direction. That's when I saw it. A clearing about 50 yards off the trail, and in the middle of that clearing was a cabin. My first thought was simple. Someone lives out here. But something didn't feel right. The cabin looked old, very old. Wood was dark and weathered. The roof sagged slightly in the middle, but it didn't look abandoned. The windows were intact. The door was closed, and there was no sign of decay, just stillness. I checked my map again. Nothing. No cabin, no structure, just forest. I frowned. Maybe it's just not marked, I muttered. Still, something about it felt wrong. The clearing was too perfect. No overgrown grass, no fallen branches. Like the forest stopped right at its edge and refused to grow any closer. I should have kept walking. I should have ignored it. But curiosity won. I stepped off the trail and walked toward the cabin. The moment I entered the clearing, the air changed, colder, heavier. Heavier. The sounds of the forest behind me faded completely. No wind, no movement. Just silence. I stopped halfway to the cabin and turned around. The trail was still there, only a few steps away, but it looked farther, like the distance had stretched somehow. I shook my head. Just your imagination. I kept walking. When I reached the cabin door, I hesitated. Up close, it looked even stranger. The wood wasn't just old, it was scratched, covered in long, deep marks, like something had clawed at it, repeatedly. The windows were dark, too dark, like they didn't reflect light properly. I leaned closer to one of them trying to see inside, but all I saw was black dot, no furniture, no movement, just emptiness. Then, something moved behind me. I turned, quickly. Nothing, the clearing was empty, but the feeling was there, that I wasn't alone. I stepped back toward the door, and noticed something carved into it. Words, rough, uneven, like they were scratched in a hurry. I leaned closer to read them. Do not stay after dark. Chill ran down my spine. I checked the time for 38 p.m. Still a few hours before sunset. I laughed nervously. Okay, creepy, but probably just a joke. But even as I said it, I didn't believe it. The silence in the clearing felt wrong, too. Heavy, too deliberate. Then something happened. The cabin door creaked, slowly, softly, opening on its own. I froze. No wind, no sound. Yet the door opened anyway. Just enough to reveal darkness inside, and something else. Smell, old, rotten, like damp wood, and something worse. Something that had been sitting for a long time. I took a step back. Every instinct told me to leave, to go back to the trail, to forget this place existed. But then, I heard something from inside the cabin. A voice, soft, weak, help. I froze. It sounded like a woman, barely audible. Please. My heart started racing. Someone was inside, hurt, trapped. That had to be it. I stepped closer to the door. Hello? I called, no response. Then the voice came again, a little louder. Please, help me. Something about it felt off. The tone, the way the words stretched like they were being repeated, not spoken naturally. I hesitated. Are you okay? I asked. Silence. Then suddenly, the voice changed. Same words, same voice, but distorted. Too deep, too slow. Help me. My entire body went cold. I stepped back immediately. That wasn't a person. That wasn't someone asking for help. That was something pretending. The cabin door creaked open wider, darkness spilling out like it was alive. And then I saw it. Something moved. Inside, tall, standing just beyond the doorway, watching me, not stepping out, just waiting. Then the voice came again, but this time, it was my voice, perfect, exact, double quotes, hello. My breath caught in my throat, because I had said that earlier, and now, something inside the cabin was copying me. The voice came from inside the cabin, my voice, perfectly copied. Hello. My entire body went cold. I stepped back slowly, my eyes locked on the dark doorway. Whatever was inside hadn't moved forward yet. It didn't need to. It knew I could hear it. It knew I understood. That thing wasn't asking for help. It was learning me. I turned immediately and ran. The clearing felt bigger now. Too big, like the distance between me and the trail had stretched again. My boots hit the ground hard as I sprinted toward the edge of the trees. Behind me, the cabin door slammed shut. The sound echoed like a gunshot. I didn't look back. I didn't want to see what was coming out. I just ran. I crossed the edge of the clearing and pushed back onto the trail. The moment I did so, returned. Wind, leaves, distant birds. But something still felt wrong, because I could still hear it. Footsteps behind me. Not on the trail, inside the forest, keeping pace. Crunch, 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 slow, deliberate. I ran faster. Branches scratched my arms as I pushed forward. My breathing became uneven. My chest burned, but I didn't stop. Not until I reached a bend in the trail. Then I glanced back. Nothing. No movement. No cabin. No clearing. Just trees. Endless trees. I bent over, trying to catch my breath. It's gone, I whispered. But even as I said it, I didn't believe it. I kept walking, faster than before, not stopping, not resting. The forest around me slowly returned to normal. Birds chirping, wind moving. Everything felt real again. After about 20 minutes, I finally started to calm down. Maybe it was over. Maybe I had just imagined. Then I saw something ahead. My stomach dropped. A clearing. I stopped walking immediately. No, I whispered. It was the same clearing, same shape, same dead stillness. And in the center, the same cabin. Exactly the same, like I had never left. My heart started pounding again. That's not possible. I had been walking in a straight line. There were no turns, no loops. Yet somehow, I was back. The cabin door slowly creaked open again. From inside, the voice came. My voice, Rachel. I stepped back. No. Another voice followed. This time it sounded like my mother. Come inside. Tears filled my eyes instantly. That voice, it was perfect. Exactly how she sounded. But she was miles away, at home. Safe. This wasn't her. It was using voices now. Not just copying, choosing, manipulating. The door opened wider. Darkness spilled out, and then I saw it. Again. The shape inside, taller than the doorway, standing just beyond the light, waiting. Then it stepped forward slightly, just enough for me to see more. Its body was thin. Too thin. Its limbs long and stretched, and its face, it didn't have one. Not really. Just smooth skin, except for a wide slit where its mouth should be. And that slit moved, speaking. Switching voices rapidly. Mine, my mother's, the woman's from earlier. Come inside. Help me, Rachel. Don't leave. I turned and ran again. This time deeper into the forest. Away from the trail. I didn't care anymore. I just needed distance. I ran until I tripped, falling hard onto the ground. My hands scraped against dirt and leaves. Pain shot through my palms. But I didn't feel it fully, because I heard something else. Behind me, closer than before. Footsteps. Not in the trees. This time, on the ground. Right behind me. I rolled onto my back. And saw it, standing at the edge of the clearing. Watching me. It hadn't followed me all the way. It stayed near the cabin, like it was tied to it. But it didn't need to chase me, because I realized something terrifying. No matter which direction I ran, I would end up back there. The forest wasn't letting me leave. It was looping me, like I was trapped inside its boundaries, like I had stepped into something that wasn't part of the real world. The creature tilted its head. Then slowly, it raised one arm and pointed, not at me, at the forest behind me. I hesitated, then turned, and for the first time since this started, I saw something different. A path, not the original trail. This one was narrow, barely visible, but real. Sunlight touched it. Wind moved through it. It felt normal. A way out. I looked back at the creature. It hadn't moved, still pointing, still watching. Why would it show me the way out? That didn't make sense. Unless it didn't want me. Unless it wanted something else, something worse. The thought hit me like ice. What if it was waiting for someone else to come? What if I wasn't the first, and I wouldn't be the last? I didn't wait any longer. I ran down the path, not stopping, not looking back. After what felt like forever, I saw something ahead. A road, a real road, a parked ranger vehicle, a man standing beside it. "Hey," he shouted, "are you okay?" I stumbled toward him, barely able to speak. I got lost. He helped me into the truck, gave me water, kept asking questions, but I couldn't answer. I just kept looking back at the forest, waiting to see the clearing. Again, the cabin, the thing. but it never appeared. I left that place the same day, and I never went back. But a week later, I checked something. Parkrecords.trail, maps.satellite images. There was no cabin, not anywhere near that area. No clearing. Nothing. Just forest, endless forest. And one more thing, a missing persons report. A woman, last seen hiking that same trail 3 months before me. Her last known location was exactly where I found the cabin. I still think about it. Sometimes about the way it copied voices, the way it didn't chase me, the way it pointed me toward that path. And what scares me the most is this. I don't think it let me go. I think it replaced me with a better option.